Hey, it is Wednesday, which is toss-up day. That's right. Toss-up day on Wednesdays. If I am not live on the YouTube channel with Let's Just Chat, then we are over here on Instagram or on TikTok. So keep that in mind. That's why I highly encourage y'all to hop on over to the My Social page of the website at cdhrwdrmd.org. The My Social page is in the navigation drop-down menu, and you can see where we are at across all social platforms that we are on. We're not on every single one of them, obviously, but we are still on Quora. We are right here on Instagram. We're still on Facebook. We're getting back to business as usual, making sure that we have new content coming out for you all on each platform at least once a week. Now, here on Instagram, we try our best to get at least a motivational Bible verse, meme, message, reminder, whatever. We try to do daily, at least a few times a week. Okay, sometimes we don't get to it every single day. But then we also get up here with a live stream, and y'all can catch it on the replay. I know you will. And, we want to talk about this because it is part of trauma healing. It's something that is not just from my trauma training. For those who don't know, I received my trauma training through the Arizona Trauma Institute. And of course, I saved my notes. Remember, I'm qualified by God, first and foremost. And I'm also a minister. I'm a consultant, master consultant, coach, and author. So this ministry, okay, you all, is 100% Holy Spirit led. But let's talk about something, trauma healing for the vagus nerve, because that is, the autonomic nervous system, the ANS, that's your inner child. And as long as the inner child is living in fear unbeknownst to you, then it stays traumatized and numbed. And that can lead to becoming more accident prone. So what happens is we learn our autonomic nervous system and how it's responding to certain frequencies, sounds, sights. Our ANS is highly dependent on our five senses to make proper connection. Our ANS is our threat detector. Our amygdala, or as you'll hear, amygdala, is the threat interpreter. If your ANS is traumatized, it loses the correct communication with your amygdala. There's two, your amygdala, you've got, on each side, the base of the skull, the ear, and it's here. Now, when you are traumatized, your amygdala are enlarged. Let's say you are reconnected in mind, body, and spirit. In other words, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. That's the mind, body, spirit connection. Because the battle we face is not physical. The battle we face is spiritual battle for the mind. The mind is the battleground. And Matrix, the devil, and narcissists out here are using radio frequency poisoning to try and control the mind by keeping it numbed and then your ANS numbed. So I talk a lot more about this, not just on YouTube, but on the Patreon channel, also titled Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance. Y'all can unlock access to exclusive content for just $5 a month. And we've got the Truth Analyzer Patreon podcast on the Patreon channel too. You get access to that because we dive deeper into all of this, because it goes in line with our movement, combating that radio frequency for healthier living. Because your trauma healing for the vagus nerve, when you think about, you think about your voice box, and then you think about your amygdala back here. And then your spinal cord. If you pull up a diagram of the vagus nerve, which is VAGUS, vagus nerve. That is the motherboard of your ANS. It is the motherboard. It's like a computer has its circuit board. Okay, well, your vagus nerve is that. Because as I talked about on the Patreon channel, you stress out that vagus nerve, and you stress out the whole ANS, meaning you stress out your whole body. And if your ANS is numbed, you won't even notice it. You won't even feel it. You won't even know that your body is so tense, because that tension interrupts proper circulation, which is highly needed for healing and proper nutrition. If your body stays tense all the time, then it's not going to get adequate nutrition. And over time, that radiofrequency poisoning and then excess toxin being salts on the inside of the body that act as a magnet for that radiofrequency. Over time, you will lose the locus of control of your muscles. When that happens, you lose your physical strength and become dependent on man. And that's what the devil wants. So keeping the ANS traumatized by stressing out the vagus nerve is what he does. Because he knows that the ANS is highly dependent on our 5 senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch, to make the proper association and to know that, no, that's not a threat, and to be able to relax as needed. And I will tell y'all, I recently learned that when there is inconsistencies, and there's a lot of inconsistencies out here in the matrix, and a lot of it's to try and cause injuries for a numbed ANS that happen to be more accident prone. But when we're aware and we see these things, we question them. And one of the recent ones I had was about the inconsistency in lighting. Like some places will have the bright LEDs, others will have the low, and then a combination of both in one environment. And what that does, that puts a lot of strain on your eyes. Where's your vagus nerve? Okay, that's what I was getting to. When you think about your sinuses, okay? Your sinuses, your vagus nerve is right smack dab in the middle, at the base, in between your spinal cord and your vocals, okay? Yeah, your vagus nerve starts right there, boom. It's like the antenna for all of your senses, your vagus nerve. And inconsistency in lighting on a regular basis causes the eyes to have to work harder to adjust from going outside to inside and vice versa. And over time, that can prolong any sinus pressure, which is a radiofrequency symptom from excess salt. Because I noticed that, and I've been wondering about whether or not that plays a role in vagus nerve healing, and God answered my question, said, yep, sure is. So he had me test out my theory, and God always comes with confirmation. The more consistent your lighting is in an environment, the less strain it puts on the eyes, and the less strain on your eyes help the vagus nerve relax. So there's your tip right there. And then also you have to think about your internal body heat. Your vagus nerve being the motherboard, because it is responsible, just like your ANS is responsible for all kinds of biological function. Digestion, your vagus nerve is what controls your urinary output. Y'all can look this up. This is not a secret. You can Google it. And you'll learn what your vagus nerve is responsible for. Urinary output, okay, the elimination process that is included in the digestive process. Your vagus nerve is responsible for a lot of things in order for the ANS to operate efficiently. Hello, Chris. Hello. I know you're going to have to, you're going to want to catch the first 12, 13 minutes or so on replay, because I lead up to a recent discovery of lighting inconsistency and how it puts a lot of strain on the eyes, because putting strain on the eyes on a regular basis keep the vagus nerve stressed out just enough to prolong radio frequency symptoms. That what I needed to learn. And I said, oh my gosh, that makes a whole lot of sense as to why the ANS is still responding a little like this to this. And I'm like, hold up a second, because you know our ANS is a threat detector. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not a threat. Now I know why, because the lighting inconsistencies, and it was causing my eyes to have to readjust. Like, in other words, they had to work harder than necessary to readjust. And that was keeping the sinus pressure going. That should have been long gone. Okay, so yeah. And I got you over on the Patreon video where I show that. Okay, how do I do that? Okay, well, practice. All right, my grandpa on the mother's side, he was able to do that too. So when I was a kid, he taught me how, and you just have to, you can do it. Anybody can if you want to. Remember, you can do anything you set your mind to. So what you have to do though, is you have to kind of just like, it's gonna feel weird. Okay, but you wanna exercise your facial muscles. You know, stretch them. Loosen them up, and then you'll like, oh, wait a minute. And then you'll notice when you do something like this, how your ears should go they should move a little. So once you feel that, oh, then you grab, mentally now, you grab control of that, and you're like, oh. And you will move your neck just a little bit. Okay? But you can practice it. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. Yeah. I wasn't born with that skills. Well, maybe I was, however, but I learned it from my grandpa, who, yeah, unfortunately, I now know was a narcissist. But yeah, okay, so you're beginning to get the hang of it. Okay, so that's what I wanted to tell you, is that anybody can do that. It's bright. It's not like, it's not like, I mean, you gotta want to. It's not something that everybody would sit there and think about, but, and start to lift with the forehead. There you go. Yeah, once you start doing that, and you'll notice circulation picking up though too. Okay, and that helps the vagus nerve. So that ties into all of this, because once you're able to move, you've got locus of control of these muscles in the face and things like that, because your vagus nerve plays a role in that. Your vagus nerve, if it's stressed out, you'll be like that all the time. That's why you see narcissists, they don't have any locus of control of their facial muscles or anything. A lot of them don't. That's why you see the long doom and gloom drawn faces. Okay? Because their vagus nerve is so stressed out. And they don't even know it. And so that's your second tip right there, is you facilitate. Y'all got to realize, for our body's circulation, we play a major role in facilitating our body's circulation in many ways. Moving, how we move, things like that. Making sure we have good posture. Yes. And then also, eating healthier and staying active. Even if you just get out there for a leisure walk. Okay? And that's it. They've got a very spaced out look because of a stressed out vagus nerve. And so I talked about the lighting inconsistency plays a role in stressing the vagus nerve out, because it causes your eye muscle to be overworked and be used incorrectly because they're constantly trying to adjust. So that, see, the devil don't want you to see things clearly. Now, here's the thing. In the spiritual, though, I don't care how inconsistent the matrix wants to get with its lighting. Once we have God's spiritual lenses on, we're still going to see things as they are. We're still going to see the evil eye. We're still going to be able to discern spiritually regardless. Okay, regardless of anything else, we are still going to be able to, because we have God's spiritual glasses on. So it don't matter what the devil tries with that. It's just a matter of biological healing from radio frequency symptoms. I said, okay, the inconsistency in lighting, that's when that comes in. You want to try and mitigate that, meaning you want to try to keep your lighting and your environment as consistent. In other words, if you've got, okay, like in a hotel room, and it's very, very common to see this, okay, in hotel rooms and, in a lot of places, very common to see it. And even in the place that I used to live in, that house that I was living in Rockwell, the bathroom and the bedroom had the soft light. And then the fan, when you turn the light on, it had the high LED light. So that inconsistency, but I didn't really turn on the fan light very often. So that's that. But in a lot of, no, there's not a ceiling light. No, these are my studio lights. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all, okay, as a content creator, I don't know any content creator that isn't going to at least have a ring light, okay? Seriously. I don't know any content creator that isn't going to have some lighting. So we got studio lighting. Oh yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like, so we can mitigate the inconsistency in lighting in that way, because we always have our content creation stuff with us, obviously. So I can bring you all this stuff. But a lot of times you'll find maybe in the bathroom, you'll have like the soft white light. And then maybe out where the bed is and the nightstands are, you might have the bright light. That constant inconsistency like that, it will mess. Well, you won't really notice it if you're not paying attention, or if you don't have any sinus symptoms from radio frequency poisoning. So keep that in mind too, because as long as you are not experiencing radio frequency poisoning symptom, an inconsistency in that lighting isn't going to have a negative effect. Your eyes will adjust naturally. But if you do have radio frequency poisoning symptoms, and the lighting inconsistent, that's when it can, again, hotel room, I have no control over the outside noises, y'all. And so when you keep that in mind, as far as if you are detoxing from radio frequency poisoning and you have any radio frequency poisoning symptoms, okay, and it might be, sinus pressure is a big one right there. One of the most common radio frequency poisoning symptoms is sinus pressure. And that's when the inconsistency in lighting can play a role in prolonging that symptom. So the old style with harsh light that gives a headache, okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay, I get you. And that's a big reason why. If you've got too much salt on the inside of the body, and then you're constantly exposed to inconsistencies in that lighting, and you're got all that sinus pressure, that's a radio frequency poisoning symptom. Oh yeah. And so to mitigate that, you figure out how to get around that resistance, because that's another part of the narcissistic matrix and another tactic of the devil to keep things as inconsistent as possible, because he wants to prolong radio frequency poisoning symptoms, because it gives off the appearance that you got some sort of thing that doesn't exist. So okay, last night, okay, a bit of that, okay, that's just another detox. Remember, we talked about that if your body is still trying to process, and then also, if you, during the day, have been exposed to a little bit more frequency than normal, that's your body just getting rid of it, okay, and so nothing to panic about, it happened, it's a natural part of the body's healing process, because it was doing that while you slept. And so that's not a bad thing. So you get a clean pillowcase and you'll be alright. Okay? Yeah, and so it woke you up a little early. I got you. Okay, it's not, remember, it's radio frequency symptom. Let it run. Tissues. Okay, tissues or a handkerchief. All right, let it run. Let the body get that out. Let the body get it out. Yeah, don't stop the detox. But because that's what a lot of people get tricked into doing. Okay, remember, it's not a cold. It's radio frequency poisoning symptoms. So we deal with it. Okay, so, and that's actually not a bad thing. If your nose is running like that and you got tissue, handkerchief, towels, whatever, okay, and this too shall pass. All right, it will pass. But that is your body getting rid of what it doesn't want and doesn't need. And so kudos, right? Congratulations. That is great. All right, that's what you want. You want it to do what it's supposed to do. That means that your body's circulating there the way it's supposed to get rid of those toxins. You don't want those toxins inside the body like that. So keep on keeping on, all right? And thank you for sharing. Okay, there you go, Cotton Hanky. You are good to go. You are good to go. Okay, and so I wanted to get on here and give you that, okay, as far as trauma healing for your vagus nerve, because when you can self-care for your vagus nerve, then you are going to be self-caring for your entire autonomic nervous system, the ANS, which is what the devil and the evildoers out here want to keep stressed out. Because you're keeping the ANS stressed out, it definitely interrupts proper circulation so that your body does not get the nutrient that it needs from the foods you eat, and tricks people into thinking that you got to go take a bunch of supplements and stuff like that. I'm not saying don't, but be mindful and how many you're taking, because like I said in a YouTube short, and let me bring it here, because the more pills you take, the less food you will eat. And the devil knows this. He doesn't want you eating. Do you know why he doesn't want you eating? Because chewing promotes circulation in the head and also promotes saliva. Saliva contains digestive enzymes. Think about it. The devil don't want you eating, because every time you chew, you are getting that saliva with digestive enzyme to help digest that food, and you're also circulating. So there's more food for thought right there. And proper nutrition also helps to self-care that vagus nerve and your entire ANS. Your inner child knows what it needs, and it does not like excess salt. I'll tell you that. The ANS does not like excess salt. It seems to get triggered when you have something to eat. Okay, well, and that's okay. You're talking about the sinuses running when you eat. Well, yeah, that's a big way that the body gets rid of while you're eating. And don't fret about that, because it's okay. It will come to pass. It won't be like that forever. What that means is that what got stored up there in your sinus cavity is finally getting loose as you chew. That's what that means, and so you want that. So get it out, and I mean, by all means, let the body get it out. Swallow your food, and then whatever it is you got to do, okay, to get it out. And over time, eventually, it will come to pass. Yeah, that's part of the detox. And the food and drink, you start to sneeze, and that is your body's response returning to normal. That's what you want. You want it. That's normal, and it also will come to pass. Okay. And that's just a big part of your vagus nerve is finally starting to heal. That's what all that means right there. And as far as, they started the packet food thing. Oh, okay. You mean, all those actors and actresses? Yeah, the packet food thingy that a lot of people are hoarding up on because they're planning for doomsday that will never happen. Yeah. Okay. Anywho, well, yeah, and a lot of that stuff you don't have to chew, right? Think about it. Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. You're not alone. You're not alone. There's many on this detox journey who are experiencing similar things, and you also have to think about what time of year it is. And then the type of frequencies and the type of chemical that they are spraying in the air, all kinds of things. And then it's also getting close to summertime, so keep that in mind as well. Yours truly is paying very close attention to that, because God doesn't go by man's seasons, but we know that the devil uses these seasonal changes and the radio frequency poisoning, as far as the level and then the amount, so we're paying attention to that to bring you all some more education and awareness with our movement, Combating Radio Frequencies for Healthier Living. And I appreciate all y'all that are helping to fund the movement. Whether you realize it or not, everything you all sow into this ministry also helps to fund the movement, okay? So I've got the CHA Accepts Grants /donation page right on the website at cdhrwdrmd.org. Yes, you will find CHA Accepts Grants /donation in the navigation drop-down menu. The website link is in the Instagram bio, as well as our YouTube channel. And then you can also check out that Patreon channel. Unlock access to exclusive content for as little as $5 a month. And then also on the website's grant/donation page, we have amounts starting just at $5. Every little bit helps, and it all goes right back into our growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ, because yours truly is a full-time entrepreneur, minister, trauma specialist, content creator. Okay? I am my own boss. Okay? So I appreciate y'all's help and y'all's continued support. All right, everybody. I mean, seriously, we're just getting started. We're just getting started. I know. I stand corrected. I'm going to tell y'all real quick here. I thought we were entering the 4th year in this ministry. No, we're entering the 5th year. I had to do the math. Yeah, I had to do the math. So as of May 17th, 2025, we are in the 5th year since launching the website. We launched the website, cdhrwdrmd.org, May 17th of 2021. So when you do the math, May 17th of 2025, we're now entering the 5th year, and we keep it moving. Okay, so yeah, and then those vacuum packs, you're correct. Yes, we didn't get started. We started around 2019 with the ministry on Quora. So there's a little bit more for you all, okay? 2019 on Quora. Quora is a foundation for this ministry. That's where we began, okay, in 2019. So we've been around for a while. It's just that we launched the website in 2021. And so it's like kind of made that more official, if you will. But yeah, we're in year 5 now. And so 2019 when we actually got started building that foundation for the ministry. And then the website came in 2021, May 17th. So there you go. Yeah, back in the day, 2019. You got that right. All right, everybody. So yeah, that grab a meal on the go thing. Those vacuum packs. It does not promote proper eating at all, because it does not promote proper chewing for proper circulation. So thank you for sharing that. We'll stay away from those and keep it moving. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your continued support. Till next time, we'll show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.